going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Here's running. It's the OD and the AL with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bond.
We are talking about practice, not a game, practice. Because it's still practice season, preseason football, week 3 wrapping up this weekend. NFL teams cut down to their 53-man roster. Lobo football, few more days of work until they kick off the regular season. 0 week is upon us. 4 college football games on the Saturday slate. One of those 4 right here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Montana State, 2 p.m. at University Stadium. So what can you take from practice? Get to a certain point where you're tired of practice. You're done with talking. But you can learn some things. And should you listen to the opponents, especially if it's a joint practice, when it comes to discussing who they are going against? What it do, and welcome into the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, joined by our quarterback, former Lobo quarterback. If there was a football, there was a field. He's coached there at some point in time. It's Ned James. Ned, morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I lost my Starbucks coffee in the lobby this morning, but other than that, I'm doing great.
Someone took his coffee.
Sacre bleu.
He can't figure out how to get in the parking garage or get in line. I don't know if a lot of people can figure out how to get in the parking garage down here. Jerry figured it out.
Oh, yeah.
He's here.
It only took me 3 years, but I figured it out.
Appreciate you. Of course, you get Adrian on ProView Networks. You can watch the show, Xfinity Channel 26, and stream it throughout the day. If you missed it, you can go back and check out the show there. You can also check out our podcast, sportsanimalabq.com. Each hour of the show up there. Interviews, takes, everything for you. We got a lot to do today. We're going to get into Lobo football. We're going to get into the NFL because we got some major questions when it comes to Lobo football ahead of their opener and just how meaningful it is for UNM, for the fans, game 1 against Montana State. But I do want to start with practice as we're wrapping up training camps in the NFL. One more week, preseason football, a lot of backups. Some dudes are last-ditch effort trying to make teams this weekend. We got some candid comments. So one of the things we've seen, kind of the shift in preseason football, is there's actually less focus on the games, and there's more focus on these joint practices. And that's where the starters are getting their work in. That's why everyone's screaming, does Aaron Rodgers need to play? No. He's not going to play in the preseason. He's working in these joint practices. But there was some joint practices going on this week in New York between the Jets and the Giants. You had the Bengals and Colts going at it. I'm interested to get your take on this, Ned, because you've been in these situations with a couple of these players. Let's start with Sauce Gardner. He actually was praising Malik Nabers, the 6th overall pick for the Giants. Of course, Sauce Gardner, the all-pro cornerback for the Jets, saying, quote, Nabers is very sudden on the field. He's going to be a very good player. It's kind of ho-hum when they were trying to ask him about Daniel Jones, and he's like, he's good, whatever. Then you have the Cincinnati Bengals, and this is a story where this just competitors. Are these guys just trying to get under your skin in practice? And I think it is, but the Bengals and Colts were having some joint practices. And Anthony Richardson only played 4 games last year, but there's a ton of hype. Like, people are on the Anthony Richardson train, the quarterback out of Florida who has the athleticism. Best case scenario, you're looking at Josh Allen 2.0, an athlete who develops as a passer. But the Bengals defense was out there, including their defensive tackle, B.J. Hill, and he was quoted by the Athletic, people that were watching practice, yelling, throw the ball, bro. He had cornerback Cam Taylor-Britt of the Bengals yelling, is that all he does is run the football? You have Geno Stone, the safety, saying, man, he's just throwing the spots. He doesn't see his wide receivers.
Yeah.
So when you look at things like this, and fans are going to consume that. Are these just dudes like in a practice just going out there and trying to get under Anthony Richardson's skin, trying to just upset the Colts in a setting like this? Or are these things maybe you can take away and realize that Richardson still has a lot of work to do in the passing game? Yes, he has the athleticism. It's his legs. They've talked all offseason. Sean Steichen, the head coach, saying they're not going to take that away from him. But so the process of developing as a passer in the NFL, easier said than done.
Yeah, well, you know what the young people say, game recognizes game. And these pro players are no different. This is not AAU. This is not track and field and gymnastics or any sort of thing. Because when you speak to athleticism, what does that mean? I mean, they're all athletes. They're all out there playing. So this whole concept of the quarterback being this athlete, you got a quarterback. You got to be quarterbackial. You have to you have to complete passes. And when you do these joint practices,
Was that the first ever quarterbackial?
Yeah, I mean, these guys recognize
Episode 1, Season 1, quarterbackial.
Yeah, they're going to recognize and respect. Okay, let's see what you got. That's what these joint practices are, and they are really competitive. I mean, you're going against a team with different color jersey, and so there you have it. I mean, you're tired of going against your guys every day. Your guys kind of know your routine. They kind of know exactly what you're going to do a lot of times. So it is competitive. And so once you're competitive, they're going to recognize if, what skill sets you have. And so that's why they're coming out against Anthony Richardson, my buddy in California. His son collects cards. And believe it or not, Anthony Richardson's rookie card, went for like $500 at a card show.
There's anticipation.
Yes.
For Anthony Richardson.
And he asked me, he called me before, when they were at the card show. I says, well, yeah, he needs to sell it. He says, because everybody's, it's bidded up. And I said, he said, well, why, Ned? I said, because he's getting accolades for his AAU accomplishments, not anything he's done on the football field. Yeah, he's a good athlete, but he hasn't done anything yet. I mean, and a lot of people think that he's going to be this great quarterback. And the only reason why I'm coming at Anthony Richardson a little bit is because I talked to Javon Curse, who's a Florida, the freak, the summer before he got drafted. And he said the same thing. He says, Ned, the guy, he's not like people think. He's a great athlete, but he hasn't had enough starts. He doesn't throw the ball as well. And these are guys who are for him because they went to the same university. So, the joint practices tell you a lot. I mean, I think, like the Aaron Rodgers and those guys, you can get a lot out of these joint practices, especially with these defenses scheming and not wanting to lose, because no one wants to lose. I don't care if you're playing, hopscotch. These guys don't want to lose. And so everybody's in practice playing hard. That's why these coaches schedule these joint practices to get good work out of their players. And so that's why a lot of them, I think, are scheduling these guys to not play in these preseason games. Now, the Malik Neighbors, you want a corner, because the corner is going to give you his honest opinion, because he's gone against these, he's running backwards with guys running with world-class speed coming at him. So he knows who's good, who isn't good. So to say that the receiver, they've studied them and they've gone one-on-one against them. They know who's coming off the ball fast. And the one thing corners respect is the speed and how you get in and out of cuts. And so I respect what Sauce Gardner is saying. And then they know the quarterbacks. They know, hey, this quarterback is a good, he's going to put it on a dime, and this quarterback, can't hit the blind side of a barn. So there's all these things that go into these comments. Pro players, they respect the game, and so you have to give them credit when they are, essentially evaluating the talent across from them.
And you look at, so you mentioned Malik Neighbors, and the next thing is the hype for this wide receiver class. And it was a big-time wide receiver class in the first round. You got Marvin Harrison Jr., went to Arizona. Malik Neighbors going to the New York Giants. You had Rome Odunze, which is the Chicago Bears. There's 3 top 10 picks right there at the wide receiver position. You had Brian Thomas Jr., Jaguars took a first-round wide receiver in the 20s. Xavier Worthy went to the Kansas City Chiefs, and the first pick of the second round was Keon Coleman. And you look at these young wide receivers, and I know we get hyper-focused on quarterback play, because the quarterback has to get the wide receiver the ball. But there's a lot of hype surrounding this wide receiver class. And something I want to get into is they're going to back it up. because this is a big-time wide receiver class. Look at those first-round wide receivers. I know the speed, what you just mentioned. People see Xavier Worthy, 4.4 guy, under 4.4 in the 40, going to that Kansas City offense. They're getting excited. Marvin Harrison Jr. going in as a number one target for Kyler Murray. Roma Dunze, can he work his way up the depth chart in Chicago with Caleb Williams, because you do have DJ Moore and Keenan Allen right now, the starters in 12 personnel when they go 2 wide receivers. Brian Thomas Jr. has an opportunity with Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. And I'm really excited, too. I think Keon Coleman, while he's not a speed burner, a possession receiver, as the Bills look for their new number one target on the outside. I think it's going to be a really fun wide receiver class, but still, it's about practice right now. And then you got to transition that to the football field. And we know one thing for sure, but there's a new starter in Denver. Speaking of young quarterbacks getting the football to playmakers, Sean Payton made it official. It's no longer a competition. The first-round pick, Bo Nix, is going to be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. So what should the rookie expectations be for Bo? And could he nip at the heels of maybe even Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams when it comes to rookie performance this season? We'll break that down. Take your thoughts all morning long, 505-246-0610. Sports Animal Hotline, Sports Animal text line. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
When you have sports mixed with your...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Like and shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres. They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain. Who's that? That's your new buddy in jail.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Go with Bo. Sean Payton did that announcing yesterday. Bo Nix will be the team's starting quarterback. They opened the regular season in Seattle again. They did a couple years ago, the first game. Russell Wilson, Nathaniel Hackett. Let's see if it's his number for the Broncos. Sean Payton taking his rookie quarterback to Seattle. And it's the first time a rookie will start a regular season opener since 1983 for the Broncos.
Elway.
It was John Elway,
who
was 1 of 8.
My man.
For 14 yards and an interception before getting pulled for Steve DeBerg
by Reeves,
Pittsburgh. And they won that game. Did the Broncos.
There you go.
14-10, I think. Or 10-7. I was watching it last night, the story about it. So John Elway goes out there as 1 of 8 for 14 yards and interception in his debut. If that happened today, just think about it. John Elway, who still top 5 quarterback all time.
All right, I think so.
To a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, even he played out, yada, yada, yada. Not playing top 5 game yet. We'll do that with some head coaches later.
Yeah.
But you think about John Elway was 1 of 8 for 14 yards. If that happened today, people would be saying this guy could never play in the NFL again.
Yeah.
That's the type of quarterback world we live in. You'd have the screaming heads going, this is the worst draft pick ever. 1 of 8 in your NFL debut, 14 yards. Fire everyone.
Yeah.
Then he turned out to be John Elway. So hopefully Bo Nix is better than that in his debut. I was pleased with Bo Nix. I was taking a cautious approach with Bo Nix. Put on my Bronco fan hat just a little bit. I thought maybe this would be a candidate to sit a little bit and then play. Mm-hmm. But seeing how efficient he was in the preseason, that's what you look for, confidence, efficiency, especially when you're going up against 2s, you're going up against some 3s. So you don't want to look in over your head early because that would, especially as a first-round pick. But he was confident when he was on the field. That team scored points. That's more than you can say from some other veteran quarterbacks in certain preseason situations. The Broncos are going with Bo Nix. I don't throw this out there to you. We got our quarterback, Ned James. JJ Buck with you. It's the opening drive. You're on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal. He was the 12th overall pick in the draft. He's a starting quarterback for the Broncos, a team that I think offensively still lacks a little bit of punch. You have Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, top 2 wide receivers. Javonte Williams, they're hoping he can get back to better form now 2 years removed from an injury that cost him some time. But you look at Bo Nix coming in. I'm going to put these numbers at you. Let me know what you kind of think of Bo Nix and Sean Payton. So over under 22.5 touchdowns passing on the year, over under 9.5 interceptions for the rookie Bo Nix. What kind of year do you think he has?
As a rookie. How many interceptions did you say?
So I put it at 9.5. Over under 9.5.
I'm saying over in the interceptions.
Okay.
If he's throwing that much.
Mm-hmm.
The 22 touchdowns, it's about right. So I'll go over with that.
So
about right.
When you look at last year, which I think it's a really interesting number, so 22 touchdown passes, it was actually like, I look around, I think a lot of it was injury. We had 66 different starting quarterbacks start NFL games last year, but some of the touchdown numbers didn't really wow you because you look at who is the 15th passer, tied at 15th in terms of total touchdowns, Trevor Lawrence, with 21 touchdowns last year. No, last year. I'm just talking last year. Trevor Lawrence, 21 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. We had Sam Howell in 17 games, throw 21 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. CJ Stroud's rookie season. So I think I might have put the total a little bit high on passing touchdowns. Stroud was 23 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions last year. And he had one of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen. So the touchdown total might be a little bit high, but what I think is going to be the interesting one is really the interceptions. Because I think that's where Bo Nix is going to set himself apart, is completion percentage. This is a guy that I think his rookie season, he is going to be 60 plus. Yeah. And I think that is why Sean Payton did like him. Yeah, he ended up being the quarterback.
60 plus?
Like, yeah, completion percentage.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that's going to be a problem with Bo Nix.
See, that's why I wanted to look up CJ Stroud. I was trying to find his sack totals from last year. All of this is predicated on how much he's getting hit.
So CJ Stroud took 38 sacks.
That's true. It's a lot. Yeah. You know, when you're getting hit like that.
By the way, just a quick comparison: Russell Wilson took 45 in the Broncos offense.
The Broncos offense last year. I'm curious to see, what that's going to look like, because with these young players, you got to be careful with them as far as the sacks are concerned. You don't want them to get smacked around too much, because that'll lead to lack of confidence. So, are they going to kind of spoon feed him? I know Brady was talking about how they spoon feed the quarterbacks now, because they're in such a hurry to get them out there that they don't give them, a lot of complicated things to do. And that gets you hit in the NFL, because people know what you're doing, you're going to get hit. And so those are the kind of things that worry me a little bit about these quarterbacks, particularly in the NFL, because of that, the nature of that position and the value of that position, and, the amount of reps you're going to take and how many games you're going to play. It's not college. By Thanksgiving, you guys, they're looking for, what they're going to do at home on Thanksgiving break. And, you're just halfway through the season in the NFL. So, it's those kind of things with rookies that are, tough to quantify. And so we'll see what happens as Bo Nix, goes through his rookie year. And he's going to have some ups and downs. And so, I'm sure Sean is, he's the quarterback. He feels he's the quarterback whisperer, but he kind of lucked into a Drew Brees situation where you got a veteran guy who's able to do a lot. I don't know if Bo Nix played a lot of games in college.
61 starts between Auburn and Oregon.
Yeah. So, but I'm curious to see just how he handles an NFL season. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's different. So this is the first rookie quarterback to open a season for Sean Payton. And that was one of my questions, is we just assume, Payton's this quarterback guy and he's going to manufacture everything. You don't have to manufacture Drew Brees to make sure he's healthy.
Yeah.
And
I've known Sean a long time. So, and Sean's an intense guy. He's battle tested, and he's been, with some really tough coaches. And I think philosophically, he's a Parcells guy. Parcells was big on, hey, this guy's got to have 23 starts in college at least, for me to even think about playing him in the NFL. And so I think he comes from that old school mindset. He thinks that Bo has played a lot, so he kind of trusts the fact that thinks he can handle, the load he's going to get being an NFL quarterback. So, but rookies, it's just tough for rookies in that league. It's a tough test. I was, surprised that CJ Stroud won a playoff game against a good Cleveland team. But your buddy, the quarterback, Joe Flacco, was true to form. He played like
kind of came back down to earth a little bit.
Came back down to earth a little bit.
In that postseason game.
Yeah, a lot of people wanted him to stay on as the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, but he kind of came back down to earth in that playoff game. So the playoffs, it's tough. Yeah. It's tough.
And it's winning that playoff game. So I'll put the official number. I'll move it down a little bit. Going back and looking at some of those totals. So Bo Nix, I'll put it out there as he is officially the starter, and you have Caleb Williams in Chicago, Jaden Daniels in Washington. People are looking at Chicago thinking they could be a wild card team this season. I think Washington is going to be competitive and could be sneaky in that mix, kind of battling Arizona maybe for a team that could jump up there and get the 7th seed in the NFC. I don't have that same feeling with Denver. because I think that you look at their roster overall, the defense has taken a little bit of a step back, but I am excited about Bo Nix. I think with his athleticism, I think his completion percentage is going to be just better than just 60. I think we're looking at a dude that could complete like 64, 65% of his passes as a rookie, just because I think it's going to be quick, and if it's dumbed down, so be it. Like, I think if they let him make plays, I like the fact that there's some true RPOs in there. There's some read option looks we saw. Run, just use his athleticism, get outside the pocket, give him some easy throws. So I know all the hype is on Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. So I think those two are ultimately going to be battling it out for Rookie of the Year. But if Bo Nix is efficient, he's going to at least get some looks. And that should at least allow the Broncos to be competitive. And I'll put it at 18.5 touchdowns, 9.5 interceptions. So it's kind of a 2-to-1 ratio for Bo Nix as a rookie. And I think the Broncos would be feeling pretty darn good about the foundation that they'd be laying this season.
Yeah, if they could get him to get to that, it's just going to depend on how much he's got to throw. I mean, he may have to throw. I mean, is Denver chasing it? I mean, do they have the kind of defense that can, kind of keep them in games, or are they going to be chasing it every game? So that will determine a lot about how well he plays and how much he throws, and that to be able to get that number of touchdown passes in an NFL season, which is difficult. But, I don't know necessarily how good of defense Denver's going to have. So, all those factors, all those things weigh into how well your quarterback plays, how well you play on defense. And so we'll see. Rookies, I still say it's tough in that league. It's no different than a freshman in college. It's always going to be, it's a change of pace. It's a change. And the preseason, sure, I think the preseason says a lot. Particularly, we're going to get into it with Pittsburgh. I'm going to talk a little bit about why it matters. But it's not the regular season.
No.
And so
that's what I'm saying. I'm optimistic. I think I like that there was confidence, that there was efficiency, and you understand you have to take everything with a grain of salt. I don't think Bo Nix is going to go out there and be better than Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels right away, but I think it's one where that's what you look for, is in terms of, right, what do you take away? Like, you're doing this for a reason. Like, it's all not, it doesn't give you 100% of the answers, but it's also not meaningless, right? And the thing that really just did impress me with Bo Nix is when he was on that field, whoever he was playing with, because he wasn't always with the starters when he was on the field, they moved the football and they put points on the board. And again, when we get to it, that's more than we've seen with some veteran quarterbacks in the preseason. Yeah. So that's why there's a positive base. So it's officially official that Bo Nix is the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. And I actually did think that there was a point in time where Jared Stidham could have been the starting quarterback. But I think Sean Payton did see enough from his rookie. And this is what you do. Now you go all in. Is you ramped it up, gave him more and more first-team opportunities, let him play in the preseason. You have that belief in the team. Now you take off. What do you think about the rookie quarterback? It's Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, the hype. Michael Penix is on ice because he's behind Kirk Cousins right now. J.J. McCarthy hurt his knee. So now you're getting 3 rookie quarterbacks, though, starting week 1 this year of a rookie quarterback class that had all those guys selected in the top 12 picks, marking 6 guys. And we'll see what happens with Drake May in New England if he gets a start. But at least 3 of the 6 rookie quarterbacks here should be starting week 1 of the NFL season. 505-246-0610. That's Sports Animal Hotline and text line this morning. So we mentioned, we were teasing it a little bit there. Let's go to those veteran quarterbacks that haven't gotten the job done in the preseason, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. What is the offensive coordinator saying about the battle between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields? How is Russell Wilson trying to talk himself into this is going to work, as he wants to be out there week 3 of the NFL preseason? We'll dive into that quarterback battle because it's really the last impactful battle going on, because Pittsburgh still believes that they can get back to the playoffs like they did last year. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Hey, are you looking for a place?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
In the Google Play or iTunes App Store. Just search KNML.
I'm stressing, Ned. I'm stressing out.
Traded.
Got the number 1 pick in my fantasy football draft. It's stressful. The pressure.
Yeah. Imagine
I like number 1 pick.
Imagine if you got to give somebody's millions of dollars to a 22-year-old, that has a criminal past and all those kind of things. General manager.
We got to
spread over
the betting process of these players. We were just talking about rookie quarterbacks. Bo Nix on the text line. Kenny Pickett, Mr. Little Hands, went undefeated in the preseason, looking like a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. Just saying, yes, that's why I said you take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
it's the classic something. Is it everything? Is it something? Is it nothing? I think it's a little bit of something. At least you're performing well. Mm-hmm. There's confidence there. You don't want to look the opposite and take that feeling into the regular season. And I think Bo Nix, that's why I'm not saying Denver is going to be a Super Bowl caliber team. I don't think Denver is going to be a playoff team. Mm-hmm. I think there's going to be something to build from in this offense. The fact that they're efficient, they moved the football. Yeah, starting caliber defenses are going to be on the field now. They're going to game plan specifically for Bo Nix. And that's going to change things. That's why I might take the under, like 18.5 touchdowns his rookie season. But I really think what could stand out for these young quarterbacks, Ned brought it up. How many sacks are you taking? It's talking about holding on the football too long, not making your reads, and turnovers. And if he's someone that can complete 64% of his passes as a rookie, keep it under 10 interceptions, that's positive. And I do think there's a bright future for the Broncos on offense. Speaking of Steeler quarterbacks, the Steelers moved on from their former first-round pick, Kenny Pickett. Now he's now a backup quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. And they got some discounts on guys that are trying to find a spark in Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, our quarterback, Ned James, with you. So the Steelers are still stuck in neutral at this moment in time. Their new offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith. They got rid of Matt Canada. Arthur Smith gets fired in Atlanta. Just takes the job in Pittsburgh. He said on preseason, quote, "Preseason can distort reality, good or bad. We've all seen it. That's not making excuses. That's not our standard. That's not acceptable. But at the same time, would rather go through that now than have that happen week one. We've got to get out of our own way." This is coming off Russell Wilson making his preseason debut last week. He started, played 21 snaps against the Bills, was 8 of 10 for just 47 yards, took 3 sacks, was thrown short a lot of the time. Then Justin Fields came in on 11 of 17 for 92 yards, had 8 carries for 42 yards, including a 20-yard run. And this is an offense in Pittsburgh that they were hoping to, be able to kind of reignite one of these players. And what their plan was, and what Mike Tomlin was hoping, is that, hey, Russell Wilson could come in and just be steady Eddie and be consistent, make some plays downfield, but allow Pittsburgh to just be constant on offense. And then maybe you could develop something out of Justin Fields, get him on a cheaper contract after this year and see what can be there. But they've been stuck in neutral. And they scored 3 points in that preseason game against Buffalo. Then you look at the Steelers, they lost their starting center for the season. So they're going to have a rookie starting center, an offensive line that they're trying to rebuild. And they drafted a tackle in the first round. Look at a team like this, that they are trying to catch lightning in a bottle with one of these quarterbacks, the veteran Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, who we know he has athleticism. He's a dude who ran for over 1,000 yards, but he's a quarterback. Yeah. So, yeah, he can do some really good things with the football. What do you see out of this competition and just the dynamics of having, the Russell Wilson trying to find something, but just continues to look like a guy that lost it faster than we expected. And then Justin Fields, we know we can run the football, he can be explosive, but can he do enough in the pass game?
Yeah, now let's go back to when Russell Wilson was in Denver. Was he that bad? Now, it's arguable that he was not that bad in Denver. And it could be argued also that Denver didn't really want to get rid of him. They just didn't want to keep the salary. They wanted him to take a pay cut, and he wouldn't take the pay cut.
I think Sean Payton was ready to be done with Russell.
Then when you're ready to be done with a guy, you don't ask him to take a pay cut. You either you say, hey, look, we're going to move on, and that's it. But you don't say, hey, we'll keep you if you take a pay cut, take a shave. So I think Russell, there's still a little left in the, some things left in the tank. And I think, philosophically, defensive coaches, you know where I stand. I'm a Jared Goff's big, stiff fan. I mean, I've got friends who are just killing me because of the Jared Goff. And I got LA fans that just, Ned, there's no comparison between him and Stafford. Stafford is, Stafford's got a gold jacket already for these guys. And the greatest quarterback that ever lived is Matthew Stafford in LA. And so,
got that ring.
Yeah, he got a ring. But Goff's been to a Super Bowl, so I mean, you can't really discount the fact that he lost to probably arguably the greatest defensive coach in the history of the NFL in Bill Belichick. And so you got to give Goff a little bit of credit. Now, the Justin Fields thing is interesting because Justin Fields is a style of play now that the game is changing to. Or is it? You got old guys like me that like stiffs, like Jared Goff, and then you have this new age runner, Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts, that style of play. Anthony Richardson, AAU track and field backflip guy who hasn't done anything in the NFL, didn't do anything in college really, but got drafted high because he's such a tremendous athlete. It's those kind of guys. Now, Russell Wilson is a little bit different because he is that style of player, but he's been in the game a little while, so he's not as fast. He doesn't run as well, but he can manage the game a lot better than a guy like Justin Fields, who gives you the dynamic. The issue with me is the preseason with this group and Arthur Smith. Now, Arthur Smith, his conservative style of coaching on offense kind of lends to this, not scoring many points and Pittsburgh wanting to be that, with a defensive head coach and Mike Tomlin wanting to play defense, be conservative, running the ball, playing in the Northeast. So you got weather, in the later months. To me, that all spells, well, what are you going to do? Yeah. When you got two, that means you don't have one.
Yeah, it almost makes me feel like why they move off Mason Rudolph. Like, why did they do all this?
It really fascinated me because of Belichick, and I call him Bill Belichick, and I tease all the time, but I really respect him because he's the kind of tried to evolve with the game from an offensive standpoint. Because the head coach to me is the head coach of the offense, the defense, and the special teams. So these guys philosophically have their ideas of what quarterback play should look like. Even though I honestly believe he spent 10 years trying to get rid of Tom Brady. But Tom was the owner's pet cat, and so he couldn't get rid of him. But he kind of evolved. It told me a lot about Bill when he took a flyer on Cam Newton, because Cam's not a passer. Cam was a runner. That style of play, I thought Bill was an old-fashioned guy. So I'm just thinking that this whole idea of these running quarterbacks, maybe Tomlin's enamored with Justin Fields' style of play, and that's why they're having some confusion at quarterback at Pittsburgh.
I'm going to tell you where quarterback play is going in the NFL. After this.
Okay.
The new school versus old school. What do you have to do to win in the NFL? We're going to dive into that next opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
EM 610, the sports animal.
I'll give you the answer for what kind of quarterback people want in the NFL. They might like the athleticism. I love the fantasy football aspect to it. Why people are stoked about Anthony Richardson. He can run. He's an athlete. The change isn't from old stiffs to guys that can run like Justin Fields. Because Bears fans will tell you they didn't trust Justin Fields. The shift is a passer that can move. Yes, you want to be able to check all the boxes. But to answer your question, Ned James, and you bring it up. Yeah, Lamar Jackson is an MVP. 2-time NFL MVP. But how many of you all trust Lamar Jackson in a playoff game when it comes down to it?
Yeah.
How many of you trust the quote-unquote mobile quarterback when it's all said and done? If you look at the playoffs last year, after the wild card round, these were the teams that were left. Tampa Bay and Detroit were their quarterbacks. Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield.
Stiffs.
Green Bay and San Francisco.
One stiff. One sort of mobile.
Kansas City and Buffalo. The dynamic. You got the elite, the guys there. You know, Josh Allen is the best of both worlds in terms of the guy who can run, and we've seen him develop in the passing game. Then you had Houston and Baltimore. MVP versus pocket passer. The MVP got it done.
And that's interesting because there's a lot of mobile guys in that group, and that's the thing.
Well, it's the realization of you can have athleticism as a passer, and I think we're seeing that with Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams. Like that's all right. These guys, you trust them to win from the pocket, but they're going to be able to move in that pocket.
And that's the thing. I just still go back to even back in the day. I go back to all you Dallas Cowboy fans out there listening to. I played in that Arena Football League and one of my favorite guys, Ernie Startner, was the old defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, and we had Randy White, the Hall of Fame defensive tackle from the Dallas Cowboys, who was kind of a consultant who would come around all the time, and he just absolutely just loved my play because he said he loved athletic quarterbacks. He said he just, as a defensive player, he said it was tough, to handle them. And this was back in the 70s and 80s. And he said he just absolutely hated Danny White, but he loved Roger Staubach because Roger could run. And he just hated when guys could not run. And so it's just this evolution of the game in so much as, you got, 60%, 50%, I don't know, people who like these mobile quarterbacks. And you got the other half who prefers a pocket guy who has that pinpoint accuracy on third down, because there ain't no running on third down. I mean, you've got to figure out a way to get completions and get first downs. And so those are the things that I think, it's really tough because coaches are always trying to figure out ways to protect that edge of the defense, to keep everything contained. And what the mobile quarterback does is it really kind of stresses your defense with the potential to get outside. And that's what causes headaches for defensive coaches. And I understand and appreciate the fact that a guy can do that. Can you do both? Can you be the guy like Patrick Mahomes? Because Patrick Mahomes essentially plays in the West Coast offense. That's what Andy Reid is. That's where Andy Reid came from. It's not really predicated on the quarterback running, but yet he's evolved into this kind of RPO / West Coast offense thing. So he's kind of getting both best of both worlds. And they've had success. And so everybody wants to be like that. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, why people are trying to become, Patrick Mahomes like. But it's the best of both worlds. People want the best of both worlds, and that's hard to do.
That's how you become one of the top passers in this game right now. But it's not the end all be all. And I think it is really fascinating because there was kind of that shift, and we've talked about it over the years, that debate of, the Jared Goff versus everyone else. Well, Jared Goff is showing you he can win in this league at a high level.
Yeah.
He took a team to the Super Bowl. He was a throwaway in that trade. And you know what? That's a trade that worked out for both teams.
Yeah.
Because Matthew Stafford went and won a Super Bowl, and Detroit, people are expecting the Detroit Lions to be there once again on the doorstep of playing for a Super Bowl.
And that's how important the head coach is. I would argue that he would have been to another Super Bowl were it not for the coach in Detroit. His coach is not up there as far as one of the better coaches in the league, and essentially cost them a Super Bowl, in my opinion. With Detroit, they should have beat San Francisco and been in the Super Bowl. But with all that being said, the whole pocket stiff guy who cannot move, the immobile quarterback, and the fascination with the romanticizing of the Lamar Jacksons, who kids just absolutely go bananas for it. They went bananas for Vince Young, and Vince Young could, he threw like Napoleon Dynamite, and so that's one of those things that I don't really get, and I'm trying to.
I think that's where the balance. I think the shift has become, just because you're athletic doesn't mean you can't play quarterback at a high level.
I mean, Uncle Rico and Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah. Napoleon Dynamite wasn't throwing and Napoleon Dynamite. Uncle Rico was throwing it over those mountains.
Yes.
Well, look at this. That's it. It's the quarterback conversation from the rookies to the guys trying to reignite their career as the countdown is on. And we got a lot for it. Next hour, we're getting into, is it a must-win football game? Week one, game one. Bronco Mendenhall and the Lobos. And we'll continue to take your thoughts. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, Deep Sports Hour.
Dirty Boys present Fill in the Holes.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
In New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, a new era of Lobo football begins on Saturday. Bronco Mendenhall and UNM take the field against Montana State. 2 p.m. kickoff out there at University Stadium. What are your expectations for the 0 week? What do you want to see out of the Lobos? And not just getting a victory. What type of team? Physical, competitive. What will give you belief? What will excite you as a fan for Lobo football from what they do on Saturday? You pull it up now and you look at that scoreboard. 4 games, 0 week. Standalone afternoon game. Montana State at New Mexico. After Florida State and Georgia Tech kick things off in Dublin. Nevada hosting SMU. Hawaii is scheduled to play Delaware State. Well, Delaware State missed their flight from New York to Hawaii yesterday, so now they have to figure out how to get out there to play that game. But you have 3 Mountain West teams in action on 0 week. A slate that whets your appetite for the full week 1 kickoff after this. But for the Lobos, 12-point underdogs. Number keeps creeping up. Every time we hit refresh, we're expecting that number to go up. So ESPN bet right now, Montana State 12-point favorites at the University of New Mexico on Saturday. And it's a credit to the program Montana State has. They've been very good over the last few years. They're 4th in the preseason FCS poll, but that still stinks.
They bumped up to 3rd today in the power rankings.
The 3rd in the power rankings.
They leapfrogged their neighbors to the south in Missoula, the Montana Grizzlies. So now they're 3rd.
This is a team that has high expectations that to play for a championship in FCS football, but still you're a FBS football team, almost 2 touchdown underdogs at home. That stings. How do you feel, Lobo fan? What are the expectations? What are you looking for from Saturday? And it's crazy to say this already, but we've been here for a while, y'all. We've been here, done that. And Bronco Mendenhall on Monday about this game says this is the beginning of an era Saturday, but it does not define an era. It still could define the season for Lobo fans because that's the life you live as a sports fan. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. JJ Buck joined by our quarterback, Ned James, former Lobo quarterback. Been in these situations on the field, in games, starting seasons, what it takes, what you need to do. And where with Lobo football is right now, there's a lot of positive buzz. The resume is there for Bronco Mendenhall. And he will tell you, hey, look what I've done. I know how to turn things around. I will turn things around at the University of Mexico. But also as just a Lobo fan, you've been told that over and over and over again. And the way the schedule sets up, it's not easy for a bounce back. It's not easy to just say, hey, that was one game. Come right back. Let's go. Because you open up against Montana State. Then you're at Arizona. You have a bye week. You're at Auburn. So this team doesn't get a chance to play another home game until September 21st. And it's game one of what you hope is an extended, consistent era of Bronco Mendenhall, but a snapshot of this season of trying to get people out to that stadium for just 4 more times after Saturday, since only playing 5 home games. It becomes a must-win football game for the Lobos.
Well, yeah, in some regards. And it's with coaches and with players, and when you're on a team, it's kind of us against them anyway. Yeah. I mean, they really believe that it's, we have to be together as a team. We're building something here, and we're going to have to stick together through good times and bad times. And there's going to be people that flash. There's going to be, with this many new players, the management of this team and the management of the players and who's participating, who's doing what, why, when, and where are all going to be important. Nobody knows. I mean, the point spread, one thing about coaches, you don't really pay much attention to point spreads. You have to, prepare your team. You do what you feel gives you the best chance to win, and you go from there. But it's with me, it's always the same thing. I'm going to look at certain things. Those are the things that I follow. Those are the things that I've grown up with in the sport that pretty much help me determine how successful a team is going to be. And I'm going to look at those things this weekend, and I'm going to see if those things are, if those parameters are met. And if not, and then I can get a better gauge of how I think it's going to be.
Yes, you're right. That's the way coaches and players should look at it. But this is almost like having 2 different conversations. There's we can break it down, which we will, on the pre and post game show, giving you that X's and O thought, what you're seeing schematically, how are the players impressing you. But then you also have to fold in, just from a fan standpoint, of if they lose to Montana State at home, you can talk all you want about, hey, this is a team that is expects to be playing for an FCS championship, win playoff games at that level. They have an established culture, a program that's developing players, all those things. You're still trying to get people out to that state. And that's why Saturday, even game 1, year 1, I'm not talking this defines the era of Bronco Mendenhall. I agree with him about that. But it could define this season. And that's what's going to be a hard uphill battle. If you have the Lobos lose at home to an FCS team. Because it will just hit some, Joe Sports Fan X going, like, they lost to Division II football team. They're dropping these games at home again. And that's the uphill battle you're going to have to climb. And just the fact that you're not coming right back home in a week or two, having a game, trying to build off it. You have over a month till you're back on the field. It's just the way it sets up.
Yeah. And
now, if you go out there and do something against Arizona or Auburn, it absolutely changes the entire equation. But I'm not putting those expectations on this Lobo football team yet. To week 2 or week 1, essentially, because it would be week 1 of the season, but week 2 for the Lobos. To go into Arizona, to go into Auburn, to get that game right now. Can it happen? Sure. But I think that's why there's so much more pressure. We're talking about it from a snapshot of this season for a Lobo fan, where you want a little bit of something. You want some hope. That's what we're talking about. Hope to buy into the excitement, seeing it on the football field. And if you lose at home to Montana State, you go on the road against Arizona, you go on the road against Auburn, and then you're not back home in the 21st. That's a lot to ask from a fan base that is starving. That would just be hitting the head again if you lose at home to Montana State.
Yeah, and you're assuming that they won't win. I'm a Lobo alumni. You're assuming they won't beat Arizona or Auburn. In my mind, you think if they lose to an FCS school, how in the heck are they going to beat Arizona or Auburn? And in my opinion, and in my mind, as an alumni, maybe I'm delusional, maybe I'm crazy. I always pick the Lobos to win. I don't ever pick the Lobos to lose because I'm an alumni and I played football there. So I'm always going to be Team Lobo, and I'm always going to be optimistic when it comes to their chances of success in winning games. With that being said, sure, the public, the fan base may look at it differently. Here we go again. The pessimism. But being in the business and coaching and playing and being an athlete, you always believe you have a chance.
As you should. That's what you want.
You're going to be successful. And with this game, it's no different than any other game. You just on to the next, regardless of what happens. You get 24 hours to digest it. And after that, it's over with. You let it go and you go on to the next.
On to the next one. How do you feel? 505-246-0610. Sports Animal Hotline and text line. Lobos opener Saturday. 12-point home underdogs to Montana State. And just with the way the first month of the season sets up, it's a challenge. It's a good Montana State program. This isn't just like bringing in Delaware State, which, by the way, if they get there, Hawaii's 40-point favorites in that game. This is different. You're getting tested. You're getting challenged right out of the gate at home. And then you have Arizona. Then you have Auburn. I'm with you. Those games could change it. But I'm not expecting UNM go, if you slip up against Montana State, you're going to get everyone right back on those road trips. And some of it is, as you said, the pessimism of we've done this for a while now. This is, I think, going to be year 10 for me, just in terms of on the pre and post game show, working football, covering football. I don't know what we're in it now, like 5-6 years. We've been doing it together of just grinding, just going. And we understand the fan base. And I do think there's two conversations going on. You're right. From a football standpoint, coach, player mindset, even from a fan standpoint, you should expect your team to win home games, even against a good FCS team if you're a up-and-coming Division I program. But just knowing what could happen if they lose in the challenging schedule ahead for the Lobos. 505-246-0610. We know this guy's all in. We know this guy's going to get you going. Rudy, you're on the opening drive. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Got those butterflies in my stomach. You know what I mean, Ned?
Butterflies, sure.
Yeah, you start thinking about the game, and I haven't played a football game, and I can't remember when, and I didn't play at the level that you played at, but I've been a Lobo fan since I was 5 years old, and I just remember as a kid going to the opening of University Stadium. That's how long I've been going. It was a brand new stadium, and the line was to get into the parking lot was all the way from the University of Mexico down University Boulevard, and we waited and waited and went in and watched UNM beat Mexico. I can't even remember. It was like 100-0 or something like that. And so I always thought that the Lobos would win because in 62, 63, and 64 when we went, they were conference champs 3 years in a row. And then poof, everybody went to two platoon, and we've been struggling ever since. But I think we found a guy. And, you've been around Bronco, and I went to his talk show the other day, and if you can't get excited and play for that guy, then you don't have a pulse, because he is just a supreme motivator of people. And I think he knows how to turn the keys to this program. And I'm just really excited about the Bronco Mendenhall era. I can't wait for it to begin. We'll be there successful.
How is the time to be excited? This is the time to be glass apple. This is the time to take those shots of cherry Kool-Aid. It's opening the season. You should have hope, even with the rebuilding that is going on. But then you also ask the question, what if? What happens with the way the schedule sets up if it is a bump in the road? Week one, how are you feeling, Lobo fan, whether you're a Rudy, where you're all in and you're going to be with this team regardless, or if you're someone that's just taking a step back and saying, hey, I need to see something. I need something more to cling on to until you get back out there to University Stadium. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line this morning. We got our quarterback, Ned James. We got Jerry holding it down, Adrian on ProView Networks. JJ Buck with you here on the Sports Animal.
Aaron Jones owns International.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride barbecue chicken and ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space, and you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Murcia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
Well, the Lobos going to lean on early in the season. They take the field against Montana State. It's the first meeting since the Harbor Bowl on New Year's Day back in 1947. The only other meeting
after World War II
in Albuquerque was over 100 years ago. So just 2 games between New Mexico and Montana State, and I think a lot has changed.
I think they traveled in a covered wagon, didn't they?
They might have in 1923. Who knows how they got down here?
They got down here. Wagon trail.
But it's 1-0-1. This in favor of Montana State, the series record between these two teams. But you got an FCS powerhouse right now. Yeah. Montana State Bobcats coming in. Number 3 in the preseason poll. Some people believe they're a top 3 team in FCS football. And they're almost 2 touchdown favorites. They come in 12-point favorites to University Stadium.
Okay, I'm going to give you a Montana quiz real quick.
Oh, okay.
What's the difference between supper and dinner?
Is supper the snack before dinner?
It's opposite. Dinner is like lunch, and supper is dinner. That's what they say in Montana. I got a good friend who's from Montana. He would always talk about dinner.
And I was like, lunch out the window?
They don't have lunch. It's called dinner. So I said, and this is coming from a friend of mine from Montana. He's from Bozeman, and he says
have dinner.
He would always say, "Hey, are we going to dinner?" And I was like, "Dinner?" I was like, "It's 12 o'clock." I go. He goes, "Yeah, we call that dinner."
Yeah, let's go.
He
get
said
dinner.
we call dinner supper. That's what the people in Montana. So
Do they
I'm
wake
curious
up at
to
2
I'm curious
a.m.?
to talk to someone from Montana. Am I just making this up? Am I crazy? Is someone from Montana listening? Someone from Montana I know is listeting because they're getting ready
You
to
might
play
be
us in 2
crazy
days.
because people on the text line have been asking if you took your meds yet.
Oh, they just said, "Hey, it's 8 o'clock, man. I know I've missed medication, but I'm not on. Just so you guys know, I'm not on any medication. So, but yeah, all you experts out there, also all you physicians telling me I need to be on medication. You tell me, did you know before now what dinner and supper were as it relates to the Montanans?
That's just all right. What do they just got mad at lunch? Do they wake up at 2 a.m.?
I don't know if that's a
They're just like, we're Montana. We're going to make
I don't
dinner
know. That may be a
thing.
Midwestern thing. People from that region, South Dakota, North Dakota, yeah. You saw Fargo, yeah. I think that's a part of Montana too, and Idaho, yeah.
You're up in Minnesota for a bit, weren't you?
Yeah, I was up in Minnesota. Yeah, I spent 3 years, felt like 30 in Winona, Minnesota. They call Winona, Minnesota, the Miami Beach of Minnesota because it's in the southeast corner, right on the Mississippi River. It's the Miami Beach of Minnesota because it's so far south. But that's what when you hear someone say dinner and they come into town, they're going to start coming into town tonight and tomorrow. They're going to start talking about dinner and supper. You New Mexicans need to realize that they're talking about lunch and what we call dinner, which is they call supper.
I'm just waiting for some breakfast right now. 505-246.
I need my meds, I guess.
0610. Can't take them on an empty stomach.
No.
The Sports Animal Hotline
Breakfast
and
burrito.
text line this morning. So what are you expecting football-wise? What do you think the Lobos are going to lean on Saturday? One of the things that intrigues me about this defense is the secondary. And Sean Ryder, beat writer for the Albuquerque Journal, has been doing some position previews, good stuff out there from Sean. But what I was really interested in is how this coaching staff has really attacked the secondary. And they are pretty much making guys learn multiple positions. If you're a cornerback, well, you need to know how to play safety in this defense. If you're a safety, you need to know how to play cornerback. And we've actually seen changes because of this. You look at Noah Avenger, who had 2 solid years to begin his collegiate career at San Diego State, a cornerback. He's actually listed as a starting safety. Look at someone like Noah Pola Gates, who was playing safety. He's actually listed as a starting corner in this defense. And the ability to know multiple positions, that, of course, can help you as a football player. But I was intrigued about how they pretty much just came in with a blank slate in the secondary, trying to figure out where these guys can perform best. And you talked about it. There's areas of the football field you're going to be watching. And if this defensive line can hold up, because they're going to have to stop the run first. That's going to be the focus against Montana State. And if the Bobcats put the football in the air, can you make plays against a team that wants to run and not throw the football down the field? Even though that this quarterback, of the two quarterbacks that they played last year, this is the passer that's coming back, the starting quarterback.
Yeah, one of the things, I noticed that on their Too Deep that there's a wink and a nod, I guess, in the comments about this Too Deep being the actual Too Deep. I don't know if we're trying to play games with people who are reading it or the opponent or what have you, but when they're listing the secondary guys, they're listing them as a boundary corner and a field corner. So they got Noah Pola Gates, who was a safety, essentially playing like a boundary corner, which is the short side of the field corner, which is essentially kind of a run game type of guy. And they have Avenger playing what's called a boundary safety, which is tied into the run game. And probably they want to put their best player back there on the back end like that. And they could do a lot more with them back there. And then they have a field corner, which is Taylor. And then they have a field safety. And then they have a nickel guy. So it's essentially, I was having some discussions with some guys. All these alumni guys call me and talk about, who's playing what on defense and all this other stuff. And I say, I don't know. I mean,
we'll find out Saturday.
We'll find out Saturday. But it's essentially that, they're playing this, what do they call it? I call it a 4-2-5 or, it's a nickel defense in the NFL or what have you, because they have more secondary guys in I would say the secondary area, the second level area of the defense. And so with the nickel guy being a guy who's not really necessarily a linebacker, but not necessarily a defensive back. So that's the position that people are kind of curious to see how that nickel guy plays, because he's going to be a part of the front.
Is that
7? That's that Arnold. Yeah, Arnold's playing the nickel.
Bobby Arnold. He's a transfer from Dodge City Community College in Kansas, 5'9", 179.
Yeah, and he's playing the nickel, essentially a linebacker type position. If you say they go 2 tight ends and running backs or what have you, they're trying to match up, and they're putting faster guys out there when you have a defensive back type guy playing that extra linebacker. They're only playing 2 linebackers, and so they have the guy who I'm interested in seeing how he plays. Gabe Lopez listed as a linebacker, as a will linebacker, but he's essentially a defensive end playing. So it's gets them into some schemes that they can get into. They can get into 3 down fronts with some of this stuff, and that's why they do it. You have to ID guys and that sort of stuff. On offense, you have to point and know who you're blocking. Are you blocking big guys? Are you blocking little guys? You don't want your big guys blocking little guys. You want your big guys blocking other big guys. And so everything's matchups. And it's scheme, and it's just the way they run their defense and how they label their defensive players. It'll give the fans, something to talk about and ask, why this guy's doing this and why he's doing that. And, coaches will give you some coach speak, and, it'll go from there. But, at the end of the day, it's a 3 or 4 man front. You've got to stop the other team. The game is very simple. It comes down to blocking and tackling. Who can block the best, who can tackle the best, who can keep the other guy from scoring, and play good special teams, and that typically determines who's going to win the game. And so we'll see, how this all shakes out. And, we know some of these kids from last season, and we'll be able to kind of talk a little bit about them, and we'll learn about the new guys. It's always interesting to see what, which guys that are coming in are going to, kind of jump out to us, and which guys are going to, show up on Saturday, because it's all about playmakers. Who's going to make plays? Who's going to, have the best approach and attack, and who's going to be able to stop who?
Who's going to stop who? Who do you think is, I wouldn't say who's going to win the game. I'm asking, what do you think the identity of Lobo football is going to be early on? What do you want to see as a fan from the Lobos Saturday against Montana State? This game, the Bobcats, what do they want to do? They want to run the football. They averaged 291 yards rushing last season. So it starts in the trenches, the offensive and defensive lines. But there's a lot of interesting skill positions for the Lobos. That group, there's a lot of players listed in bold on this depth chart that they think could be starters. And that secondary, where some players last year got experience, made some mistakes, and maybe just being in a little different position could it allow some of these guys to take a step forward? 505-246-0610 Sports Animal Hotline and text line this morning. It's opening drive here on the Sports Animal.
This report.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Evergard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros Find it on ProView Networks.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space, and you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Oh, 2 o'clock Saturday, we'll get some answers. We'll have a baseline, the eye test, what Lobo football is going to look like this season. It's a must-win game. How you feeling? Are you in regardless? Because it's just game one of what you're hoping is a nice, consistent build-up and run for Lobo football in the Bronco Mendenhall era. But UNM 12-point underdogs to the Montana State Bobcats. The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, joined by our quarterback, Ned James, former Lobo quarterback. And if there was a football and there was a field, probably coached there at some point in time, regardless of the level. And we're just taking your thoughts on this game on Saturday. How you feeling as a fan? What do you want to see? Because this team, they've been tight-lipped.
Yeah.
They've been buttoned-up. And for a lot of people that even cover this program, this is going to be the first time we'll see them in game action in terms of what this scheme is. The offense and defensive coordinators aren't giving you nuggets. They're keeping it buttoned up. They're keeping it tight-lipped, which is fine. But we're just kind of playing this game of just trying to piece it together versus, all right, here's their depth chart. Here's what we think they want to do. That's what we can do right now. So that's why I'm excited for Saturday, just to see this football team, to see their style of play. And that's what you've been talking about, Ned. How do you get in and out of things on offense? What are they going to ask Devin Dampier to do when it comes to running the football as a team? What are they going to do? Does that set up the play action game? Are they going to be a team that just throws it deep the entire time? The spring game, which Devin Dampier took every rep at the quarterback position, they were throwing it deep all the time. Was that just to do it because they knew people were watching? Like, this is the ultimate unknown,
right?
Because we just don't know.
And that's good. I mean, it should be that way. I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to run the ball? Are they going to throw the ball? Who knows? I mean, the game changes, and you got to make adjustments anyway. But at the same time, you got to work to your strengths. I mean, what do you do well? What do you? Who are you? I mean, what are you as a offense? What are you as a defense? What are you going to blitz all the time? Or are you going to just make them march the field? I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do to kind of dictate how the game goes. And my thing is the most important thing, in my opinion, is special teams anyway. So I want to see, how they're holding the ball, how they're snapping the ball, how they're kicking the ball, who's running down, making tackles on kickoff coverage and punt coverage and those kind of things. All those things, that hidden yardage that you have to, that shows up at the end of the game, you're going to have to really kind of pay attention to for the first time, because there's some new pieces, going to be on kickoff coverage and new special teams coordinator. So all those things matter in a game like this. And, it's going to be fun. I mean, you could say whatever you want about point spreads. I don't believe point spreads matter. I don't think none of that stuff really matters. You kick it off,
Well, when you're on the football field, I agree with you. When we're sitting here on the opening drive,
It's
talking to the fans, talking about expectations.
All the degenerate gamblers.
Talking to the gamblers.
Yeah.
Stuff that pops up.
Yeah. And I understand. I mean, I understand, this team is ranked, really high. And I mean, those people who follow the sport that closely at the FCS level, I mean, they know who's good and who's not good. So they're predicting this team to do a lot of really good things this season. And it gives us an opportunity to kind of show where we are, So, I mean, we get a comparison to where we stack up against that level of play. I still don't believe these FCS schools that aren't in Texas. I'm biased with the Texas schools because of the Texas high school football. This is
Dakotas, the Montanas, they've been all right.
Yeah, and it's all if you look at the power rankings in the FCS, it's all the Dakotas and the Montanas that are up there. It's no more Texas. And I'm curious to see. I mean, I know they're probably doing a better job of recruiting, and I think there's this saturation of so many different programs in Texas. So, that's why they don't probably get as many. And I don't know how many guys in Texas are recruiting in North Dakota and South Dakota, but they're getting a lot of North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. They're getting a lot of California, Texas, and Florida kids. So, it's just one of those things. I mean, it may be an up year for those teams up in that region, and they're doing a better job of coaching and having great programs. So we'll see what happens.
So we were just talking about the defense, and you mentioned Gabe Lopez a couple of times over the last couple of days. Like, he's a player you really want to see. But another one is Luke Wysong. Why is Luke Wysong someone that you're so interested in? What is it about his game? Is it just, the hype because he was a local kid that was talked up? Or do you think, that, no, there's something there where Luke Wysong can be a difference maker for this team?
Yeah. The philosophy of Bronco, the earn not given, I guess, moniker that they're using to determine who gets what jerseys and those sorts of things is fascinating to me, because it goes back to what Daddy did with the guys who were in the Ring of Honor whose jerseys were essentially retired, that he brought back out. And it kind of seems to me, I mean, it's a little bothersome to me. I mean, it shows a little lack of respect when you take guys whose numbers are on the side of the stadium and, you put them on guys on the team where, you essentially said you retired them. So some guys bring them back. Some guys don't allow guys to wear them. And in this case, Wysong is wearing the uniform of a guy who I threw to, Terrence Mathis, who's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame, and he's in our Ring of Honor. And I thought those jerseys shouldn't be worn. And I would tease Luke back when he was younger. I says, hey, and it was funny because Terrence, I would always talk to Terrence. And when Luke was a freshman, I said, you got to feel privileged wearing that jersey. And he kind of showed me some things. And I was telling Terrence, it's like, hey, it might be all right him wearing your jersey because he's doing all right. I mean, I felt pretty good about it. I kind of grew to like the young man. And I saw him in Walmart, shopping with his mom. And so, there's things that guys kind of grow on you. And Gabe is the same way. I've met and talked to Gabe Lopez, just, not even interviewing or anything like that. Just talk, and you kind of, there's certain kids that you just have a fondness for. And those were two guys that really were, I had fondness for. And Luke has played well until last season when they redshirted him. He has played well on special teams, and he's done some really good things offensively. But this is kind of the year he's got to break out. He's got to have a break. And Gabe Lopez is the same thing. I mean, they've got to have a season where, Gabe played okay last year, but he's got to have a breakout season, and so does Luke, I believe.
Well, those are two of the 4 team captains announced this week by Local Football. Luke Wysong, Gabe Lopez, Noah Avenger, the safety we've been talking about, and the new offensive lineman and transfer from East Carolina, Richard Pierce.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. Richard Pierce is a tough guy. So, I mean, there you have it. Now they're captains. And so, I mean, the expectations are there for them. But like I said, I kind of just like the young men. They've been, just great to me. I mean, they've been really outstanding young men outside of football. But like you said, the fan base, the fans that come out, I'm going to always love them because I'm an alumni. They're going to be alumni. And so they're my guys either way. But they're going to have to show something. They're going to have to show the fans that, they can do some things. And I think they have the potential too. I mean, it's just, putting it all together. And I'm sure they believe they've worked hard, and, they're ready for this challenge, and they should do well this weekend.
505-246-0610. That's Sports Animal Hotline and text line. Lobo football opens the Bronco Minden Hall era Saturday, 2 p.m., hosting Montana State at University Stadium. When we come back on the other side, we'll go from building to who's been built. It's a 12-team college football playoff this season. Our good friend Jerry Palm from CBS Sports put out his early playoff prediction. So who are the top 4 teams in the country, and who is the team to watch out for representing the group of 5? Yes, they give you that little carrot. They give you that little, here's your piece of cake. You get a piece of the college football playoff team when it comes to that. That's next here on the Sports Animal.
Summertime. That's what it is, right?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Like me, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. The drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Let's hit up the text line, 505-246-0610. Appreciate y'all interacting with the show. And, of course, thank you for listening to the opening drive. Without you, I guess the show's just going into space, maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone's listening to it, so we thank you for tuning in to the opening drive. Joining us here on the Sports Animal and ProView Networks. Got this text in from Lewis. He said, hey guys, for me, I just want to see a more disciplined Lobo football team, less penalties, and honestly better X's and O's from the coaches. All right. Keep it simple. I start there. Build the foundation. Got this one. It says, Mr. James, Montana State, and Bozeman is south of Missoula, not the other way around. Supper and dinner. Well, dinner is the bigger meal of the day, while supper was the lighter evening meal. That's what you're learning. Because in Montana, the early risers, they got stuff to do. They're not messing around.
So dinner is not lunch and supper is not dinner?
Well, he said supper is the lighter evening meal. So yes.
So it's that.
Yes. So you were correct on that. Okay. You got one thing right this morning, according to the texters. And he says, Tommy Mellott is the better runner of the quarterbacks. He thinks so. Over Jordan Reed, who is a better thrower and takes over for the Wyoming transfer, Sean Chambers. Go Bobcats. We got a Bobcats fan listening into the OD this morning.
Oh, good. There you go.
For you.
He thinks 4 is the better runner than the guy last year. Huh. That's interesting. When I looked at the tape, he's a shorter guy. He just seems like he checks him in and out of plays a little bit better, but I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. Been wrong before.
Well, and that's exciting about Saturday. This is a Montana State team that's very confident. They're locked in with what they're doing. They want to come in and knock off an FBS team too. That's big for them, even though their focus is on FCS playoffs, trying to compete for an FCS title. That's still a feather in their cap.
Yeah.
And you come in almost 2 touchdown favorites into this game. Feeling pretty good about yourself. So Montana State, UNM. Continue to take your thoughts on this contest, 505-246-0610. We will dive in to the college football playoff predictions from our good friend at CBS Sports, Jerry Palm, who are the top teams in the country and who will be competing to get that one spot from the entire group of 5, but that one playoff spot in a new CFP 12-team format. It is the opening draft. We got Ned James. We got Jerry holding it down. Adrian JJ Buck with you here on the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the pennies. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, paint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM.
with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, and JJ Bond.
As we talk about one step at a time for Lobo football, they open against Montana State on Saturday. It's a new era of college football as a whole. 12-team college football playoff is here. We got to 4 for a while. Now it is 12. We're talking about home playoff games. Home playoff games. Open up the first round. Bye weeks for the top 4 teams in the CFP. An opportunity for the highest-ranked Group 5 champ to play for a national title. What will it look like? Yes, some of it will be more of the same, but who do you need to keep an eye out for when it comes to the CFP? What it do? And welcome in to the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, joined by our quarterback, Ned James. Jerry holding it down. Adrian on ProView. Comcast, I keep saying Comcast, Xfinity Channel 26, and you can stream the show online as well. So the CFP 12-team college football playoff is upon us. Good friend Jerry Palm at CBS Sports put out his preseason playoff predictions. So we'll give you the top 4 teams. No surprise. 1 through 4. So he has Georgia, Ohio State, Utah, and Florida State. So Ohio State, he thinks, gets past Michigan to be a conference champ, because conference champs are what get the buys. So it is possible that teams that earn buys may not actually be the 4 highest rated teams in the final playoff poll, because you have to be a conference champion to get one of those buys. So Ryan Day, seat might be heating up a little bit because it's been all about Michigan the last few years in that matchup. And Jerry thinks that they are ready to take a step in front of Michigan. Of course, we lost Jim Harbaugh, J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum, core pieces of that team.
Connor Stallions
no longer. Maybe that's why you can't get game film anymore, Ned. Blame it on Connor Stallions.
I know. It ain't the game film that anyway.
Now, you can't be in that system because you'd be spying on other teams. Orange Connor Stallions, former Michigan assistant, who doing maybe some Spygate stuff. Not even maybe anymore, but Michigan's actual champs. They're not taking that away from them. Utah is going to the Big 12 with the Utes, who have been rolling Kyle Whittingham the last few years. And Florida State coming back. Didn't get the opportunity to play in the playoff last year because their quarterback got hurt. They kept them out. So those are Jerry Palm's top 4 teams. So who would the top 4 play? So this is how it shapes up. And this is the only, I guess, problem I have. I think it's a bummer that you're a top 4 team and you get a bye, but then you don't get to play a home game.
Where are you going to
play? That in the bowl.
Oh,
the bowl system takes over after that.
Okay.
So the first round matchups, who are not the top 4 teams in the CFP, the higher rated team gets to host the home game. So I think that's a cool twist to it, but I think it is kind of a bummer that, you can be the number 1 team in the college football playoff and you don't get a home game because it's only in the first round. Just nitpicking with the system overall. So the 8-9 matchup, he has Texas A&M versus Penn State. So the Aggies hosting a home playoff game. He has number 7 Alabama hosting Miami. The Hurricanes. He has number 6 Oregon hosting Kansas State. Number 5 Texas hosting Boise State. So he thinks the Broncos can put a season together and be the highest rated Group of 5 team, represent the Mountain West Conference in the first ever 12-team college football playoffs. We know the top 4. I get it. What intrigues me is after that, 5 through 12, people are saying, this is going to take pressure off of the regular season. It's not going to matter as much. No, I think it's going to matter that much more because you have that many more teams with an opportunity to play in the postseason. What do you think about the format and, of course, the teams you're keeping your eye on?
It'd be interesting. God, it's just wild. I don't know. One of the things that's going to fascinate me, and I know we talked about it yesterday, is just when you're in the playoffs and you're in the professional ranks, there's monies attached to it. Mm-hmm. So for each round you go, you get an increase in pay. How many kids are going to opt out of that? How many kids are going to say, hey, I'm getting ready for the pros. Hey, I'm trying to, because they're opting out of bowl
games.
What's the difference with this playoff?
For a championship?
Okay.
And I think at some point in time, you just have to ask yourself, what are you playing? Are you playing because you're going to be a third-round draft pick? Which, there's that. But are you competitive if your team is in the college football playoff?
It's money.
It is money.
And so, I mean, if your chances of getting hurt and those kind of things based on...
Then why do you even show up and play football week 1?
Well, because you've got this 12-game body of work that you've put on
You can
film.
get hurt week 7.
I know. But if you make it to week 12 and there's no financial benefit of you playing any further, then why play? And, it was interesting, and I'll say this because I remember being in my first year in the NFL, I didn't understand this. I didn't realize guys take a pay cut when you go to the playoffs. And I remember being on an airplane with guys about ready to fight because one guy was like, hey, man, I hope we lose this game. We're going to Kansas City to play. It was when I was at AFC West when I was in Seattle. And one of our star players was joking about the fact he wanted to spend Christmas with his daughter because the game was the day before Christmas. But if we won, we were going to be a wild card team, so we we're going to have to play the next week in the playoffs. And they was talking, I don't know what it was. It was $10,000 or $11,000 at the time, which you made for a wild card game. And the guy was explaining how he spent that out drinking the night before. So I spent $11,000 out drinking last weekend. What do I need? I hope we lose this game so I can go, with my daughter for Christmas. So it's just those kind of things that, you don't realize can come up in this new age of NIL. What are these top guys thinking? Are they into that now? Hey, I'm a professional mode, or are they into, hey, yay, alma mater. Let's go try to win this one.
I think some of that comes down to
because you're playing all these extra games now.
As you said, you can do whatever you want with name, image, and likeness. But I think if I'm a coach at these universities, I would like to say, hey, let's tie in our postseason appearance to it.
Yeah.
Maybe put bonuses in there for your players. Hey,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
If you get to a bowl game, everyone gets an extra $3,000, whatever the number may be on your NIL deal. If you get to the college football playoff games you win, you can make some more money. So that's understandable.
Because coaches get bonuses for that. Yeah. So, I mean...
But at some point in time, I get it. Then why show up and play football at all?
No. Once you get through the 12 games, you get to the playoffs. Playoffs are different.
What if you play 7 and you're really good and you're projected to be a first-round pick? Just step away then, right? Why are we doing any of this?
Well, it's a little bit different, and you can use that too as well. If guys say, man, my hammy hurts, okay, I'm going to go off because I'm going to be a first-round draft pick. I'm not going to play certain games, or if I'm tight. Or, guys do that all the time. I mean, there's insurance policies based on if you play a certain amount of games, does it kick in to protect you if you're projected to be a first round. I mean, there's ways around it, but the 12-team system is great. I'm just curious to see how it unfolds once. To
your point, there's going to be some players that
extra games.
I'd say no, I don't need this. Okay. That's your decision, but when I look at it, I would still hope that if your team is in a playoff or a national championship, you don't want to play to win the game.
Well, if you're not one of the top 4, are you really playing for the national championship? That's my question. That's why I see that these guys will use the NIL monies to, hey, are we getting bonuses? Because I'm telling you, that whenever you throw lawyers and agents in there, I mean, you're talking about the bottom of the barrel. These agents and these lawyers, you're talking about guys who are going to be, hey, we got to renegotiate. This is something different. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's great that there's a 12-team playoff, and sure, they're going to do it for alma mater U, but I can still see.
So it's a 12-team playoff because money overall.
Yeah.
Money for the system, money for the schools. And you're just asking the question, which you have to address now.
But there's no revenue sharing in that money.
There's not revenue sharing
with the players, and so there's no union with players.
At least now, it's coming though. Yeah. But it's where we are.
Yeah,
are these guys going to show up and play?
Yeah, I like the list. I like the list of the 12 teams that they've got with preseason predictions.
And if you're not one of the top 4 teams, can you win a championship? Yeah, I think Texas, Oregon, Alabama, can absolutely win an extra game to win a national title. Now, the other ones, it's going to be a little bit harder. When you get down, Miami and Kansas State, and where the group of 5 team is. But I will tell you the other team that is getting buzz of representing the group of 5 in the 12-team college football playoff. And also, one of those teams is on the Lobos schedule that has a pretty good chance of the top 24 teams to make the CFP. We're going to that next. The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The Jim Rome Show.
The Cowboys.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Light skin shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver.
Boom. Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom. Boom!
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason.
Playoffs. Yep, college football playoff. 12-team playoff is here. It's going to be the group of 5 representative. What do you think? Of course, Ned, it's all these kids. They're not going to play. They're not getting money. Opt out of the college football playoff. Why even play football?
I just remember in the NFL, it was
just put flags on and play flag football. You can be an Olympian.
It was the only time the coaches were the most excited. It was because you got playoff shares, the same, similar as the players in the playoffs in the NFL. And, to say that, you can't do that in college athletics.
You can do whatever you want with an NIL contract right now. You can put those incentives in it. The settlements that are coming down the line, yeah, these colleges are going to have to start paying stuff out to athletes. So it's coming. It's here.
Well, the playoffs are already here. So, players that are playing right now aren't worried about what's coming down the line. They're worried about what have you done for me lately? And so that's where this is all going. And at some point in
time, you're going to figure out that you still have to earn your money.
Yeah.
What are you doing for that university?
They're going to tell you.
What are you doing for that team?
They're going to
get people to show up and buy tickets.
My payments were paid for the 12-game season. Now that season's over with. Right. How am I getting compensated with these playoffs now? And that's where it's going. They know these attorneys, these lawyers, and these agents. They understand the revenue that's coming from being in the playoffs. They understand that's why the playoffs are being paid. And everything's negotiable. We're going back to the table once we make the playoffs. Now you don't know if you're making the playoffs now. That's why you're making what you're making for the 12-game season. But when we get to the playoffs, we're going back to the table to negotiate. If you want my client to play in these playoffs, because you want to eventually, you're getting the bonus for coming to the playoffs. Why can't my client get one? And so that's where it's going to. I can see it going. I'm not saying that that's where it's at. I'm not saying maybe all these kids will play. I don't know. But at the same time, I can understand it. I can understand, why, it would come up with the representative of one of these young men. And, it's like I guess I heard the Oklahoma State coach mention that, hey, once the season starts, hey, you got to tell your agents, quit calling. There's no more negotiations. Au contraire, bon ami. There's no union. So there's always, everything's always negotiated.
Right now, that's the way it is in college football. You can act that way.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's part of the conversation. So how do you feel about the 12-team college football playoff? So we were talking about Jerry Palm's preseason prediction, and he has Boise State as a representative of the group of 5. So the highest-rated group of 5 team gets a shot right now. They haven't killed Division I football yet. They're trying to. The SEC, Big Ten, they're trying to take their football and kick everyone else out. But as of now, it's still get a little carrot to chase at the end of the season. And so Boise State, Spencer Danielson coming off winning the Mountain West title last year. They named Mark Madsen, the sophomore, starting quarterback over the 5-star USC transfer. Malachi Nelson that came in. They have a dark horse Heisman candidate that they're trying to hype up, but one of the most explosive offensive players in the conference is Ashton Jeanty. So Boise State, been there, done that. We got it. If you look at ESPN, another team to watch as they put their 24 teams the best chance to make the 12-team playoff would be UTSA. There's the other group of 5 team that's getting some buzz heading into the season, and UTSA's starting center is CJ James.
CJ James.
So there you go.
There we go.
Started for the Lobos last year.
Yeah.
And transferred to UTSA.
Good player.
And yeah, that offensive line last year was fantastic. Your 2 tackles both went to the Big Ten.
I know. And, the running back had 600.
Your running back.
30-something yards or 40-something yards in the last 3 games.
Yeah. Corey Krosky-Merritt is on a team that also has a 16% chance to get to the college football playoffs.
That's right.
Is the team the Lobos are playing the second game of the season. So there's that storyline. There's Danny Gonzalez weaved in there because he's on Brent Brennan's new staff in Arizona.
There we go. There you have it. Okay, so we're going to have some playoff. We might have some playoff
implications.
Or implications.
So the New Mexico Lobos
connections
have playoff implications on their schedule. People think Arizona is a team that could rise up in the Big 12.
Ooh, that'll be interesting to see. They got 2 All-Americans on that team, a cornerback and a receiver. So I'm curious to see how Arizona does that. I think the quarterback is a little inexperienced, but they think he's pretty good too. But we'll see. Arizona's a team that I'm curious to see how they play this year with some pretty good players that they have there. So
Brent Brennan coming over.
I liked Brent Brennan.
Good at San Jose State.
I liked him.
getting his opportunity, went back to Arizona.
Yeah. But it's still defense to me. Dwayne Aquina, got to see how he does defensively over there in Arizona, because you still got to play defense. And I haven't heard a whole lot other than the cornerbacks supposed to be pretty good there, but we'll see. We're
next
right
week
in the mix.
we're in it. Next week you'll know a little bit more about Arizona when you do your scouting on
Hopefully
them.
I'll find some film by then.
Find some film somewhere. I'm sure you got some connections to get some game film.
Yes. Yeah.
Needed to get ready for our next show, Arizona and New Mexico. But the first one this Saturday, 1 o'clock pregame over on News Radio KKOB, UNM Sports Radio Network with Robert Portnoy and Dontrell Moore for the Lobos and Montana State Bobcats. And we've been talking a lot of FCS football because the Bobcats are a team that's coming in with FCS championship expectations. They're fourth in the preseason polls, and people have them top 3 in their power rankings of FCS football. And you're trying to wrap your head around this now. And I got one that says, with all due respect to Ned James. North Dakota State and South Dakota State since 2011 have won 11 titles and only 2. The other 2 were JMU and Sam Houston State. So 1 Texas school. Texas has only had 1 as a representative in 2011 and 2012 in the title game,
which was Sam Houston.
Sam Houston State. So he says the FCS has been dominated by the Big Sky.
I like that. Midwest Fire this morning.
Missouri Valley Conference and not
North
the Southland Conference.
North versus the South. I love it. I love it. And I'm looking at the map from where I came. I went from Winona, Minnesota to Seattle Seahawks. And I did travel 90-94 corridor. So I did go through Bozeman because I got stuck in Butte, Montana. I always remember that I got stuck in the snow in the spring in Butte, Montana. And I went and stayed with a friend of mine in Missoula. So I should have known Bozeman was south of Missoula from our previous texter. But dinner, supper, get ready. We need to beat the brakes off these boys from the Dakotas and the Montanas, and so they don't. They got their chest out this morning.
They do.
Yeah,
they're feeling it.
They're feeling
it.
They're
12-point favorites.
Yeah. But I'm
in
taking
your house.
I'm taking Texas all day, every day, twice on Tuesdays versus any South Dakota, North Dakota. Let's have an all-star game. Let's take the kids out of Texas and the kids out of North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana.
We're talking about the kids specifically from the states or the teams. Those can be different conversations.
I know.
Because if you did the same thing here, and you took all the Texas kids and California kids off the Lobo roster.
This is true. I have a good. I'll tell you. And the reason why I guess I made my mistake on my demographics or my directions from Missoula to Bozeman is because my buddy's from Great Falls, Montana, and so that's how I learned dinner and supper. But I did say Bozeman was north and it is south.
Well, hopefully the Lobos
traveled through Bozeman.
Serve them a cold supper Saturday.
That's
evening
right.
At University Stadium.
We're going to serve them cold dinner because dinner is technically lunch.
So. And get up early. So I did get this. Steve in Michigan, who is a listener to the opening drive.
Okay.
He texted in. He said, "Oh, by the way, Connor Stallions, he did get a job at a high school in Detroit. So he's coaching high school football.
So he's in witness protection. He's in the witness protection program for Michigan. All the Michigan cheaters out there trying to cover up Connor Stallions' Spygate.
Nothing to see here. Everyone's moved on. You won your national championship. They're not taking away from you. It's just like the Astros.
The Ohio State people and the Michigan State people, they haven't moved on yet.
They won't move on. But it's the same. The Michigan Connor Stallions is the Stros and the trash can. Yes, you can bang on them for it. You can say, let's put an asterisk there. But guess what?
And Jim Harbaugh.
Their banners
I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing.
All Jim Harbaugh cares about is Angels are singing because Justin Herbert's back at practice.
Yeah, he fell into something pretty good with Justin Herbert. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, now we'll see if Justin Herbert can live up to the hype. Where people say this is a top 5 quarterback in the league. Peyton Manning said that this week. He's got one of those contracts, but yet no one expects them to be a playoff football team this year.
Yeah.
So what gives?
Hey, Peyton. Peyton is like, hey, look, man, you got to put up, man. You know, this is his third coach too. So is it the coach or is it the player? So we'll see.
505-246-0610 Sports Animal Hotline and text line. We got one on the text line that's asking about one of the big division races down the stretch in Major League Baseball. We're going to break that down and some history was made yesterday. And I'm saying bet on this team, not this year, but next year. Give me that future bet right now for this squad. I'm telling you who that is next here on the Sports Animal.
Let's paint the town cherry.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Meyer here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. I think shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Into the game, they gave them $500.
Yeah.
And a free copy of the game.
Yeah.
To use their name, image, and likeness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people are complaining, that's not enough, but hey, you have these rosters on this video game that can feature up to 100 players in a video game that are able to opt in, get a check in a video game, but be a part of history of the game coming back. I was talking with...
Oh, okay, so they don't make money off of you playing, because you played Devin Dampier, he doesn't get 35 cents for that game that you played him.
Now look at it. Now these guys are going to be...
They want residuals.
Now they're going to want residuals from this. Now
musicians.
Now more guys are going to be opting out, not playing football. You want these guys playing. Okay. Yes, they deserve a piece of this puzzle because college football went from, hey, we're amateur athletics, to gigantic business. Yeah. But no, once they signed it to be in the game, using your name, image, likeness, here's your check, here's your copy of the game. There you go. But they don't have it to the point of being able to track who is playing with what team and using what players in their dynasty.
Now, have you talked to any of the student athletes and that are playing the game? They're playing themselves and playing. Oh,
they love it. They're stoked. I was talking with Noah Avenger.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, who else was I talking to before the season started? I was talking with Richard Pierce a little bit, and these guys love it. They were having tournaments before they had to really focus on camp. They're all about it. Getting a chance to be in this game, and it's them.
That's great. That's great to hear. That's great to see too. That's something that I never had an opportunity to. We played Pong and Miss Pac-Man, and so, but the fact that these guys get to see their image and that sort of stuff.
So could there be things cool in the future that if the game does continue to be successful, it's been huge because it was gone for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the release of EA Sports College Football just exploded with the current players, of course, who are gamers. You're a gamer now. It's no longer you can be successful and play video games these days. It's not it's not taboo anymore. So these players playing these games, I know people look at Kyler Murray. I'm like, he plays too much video games. I think he's all right because he got a $200 million contract playing quarterback in the NFL.
Probably learned a lot. Is there stuff that these guys are learning now that I can't imagine how they see the game because they play the game in the way that they play it, especially with video games, how it transfers onto the field.
Yeah. It's fun.
I don't know if coaches quite know, to be honest with you, because we're all old school guys. So,
but you were asking because we're talking about all this stuff kind of being wrapped in name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
The ratings of the players. How do they rate these players? You're at, what is Devin Dampier rated? What are these Lobos rated? So, looking at in the first release of EA Sports College Football, the highest rated quarterback in the game was Carson Beck. So he's 93 overall. So it goes to a system up to 100, but usually kind of the thing is you're in the 99 club. That's for the elite of the elite. In video games, is being 99. You don't necessarily get to 100.
Okay, let me ask you. He's projected to be a first round pick.
Yeah.
Carson Beck, remind me, did he play last year?
He did.
And he played well last year?
Quarterback at Georgia.
Okay. I don't recall hearing his name a lot last year.
But so, yeah, there's like Ashton Genty, the Boise State running back. We're talking about, he's 91 overall in the game. So, and these guys know, like they talk about their ratings. Some of them like, hey, how do you know? Like,
really,
I'm underrated, overrated, stuff like that.
So Luke Weissong knows his rating.
Yeah. All these guys know their rating,
and they know who's the highest rated player on their team. Do they have these? Does Montana State have?
So
FCS
teams are not in the game. It's just all the Division I FBS college football teams.
And so, do they have the highest ranking player on a team? Like the highest ranking player on the Lobos would be.
I will have to look that up. I don't remember. I think
because I'm sure the kids know it off the top of their head.
I think in the game, because some of the Lobos roster, because either the earned not given, it wasn't 100% correct. Like I was talking with Cy Riley, he's in the game, but he's not playing for the Lobos this year. Like he had a COVID year available, but he didn't play. But like when they submitted the rosters for the release, because the game was released at the end of July. You know, there's some players like that are in the game, but we were able to sign in, opt in. But like Andrew Henry in the games, like 83 overall, one of the highest rated players. Tavion Combs, 80.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, so these guys know. Like they're stoked about the game. They know what their rating is. They play the game.
Can your rating go up and down through the season?
Yeah.
Oh man, so you can go back and renegotiate just based off. Hey man,
in the video
EA game, man, I went up to 80. I need to renegotiate this NIL deal that you guys gave me.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's at all these Division I schools, these playoff teams.
All these schools.
Fascinating. It's great. Learn something new every day, man. You learn something new every day.
505-246-0610 Sports Animal Hotline and text line. All right, so we got one on the text line. Question was the NL West race is heating up. And he says, how do you think the overworked Dodgers bullpen is going to hold up down the stretch? Well, the NL West Dodgers have a 4-game lead over the Diamondbacks and Padres, and the Diamondbacks have been one of the hottest teams in baseball since the All-Star break. The Padres, good themselves. So Arizona and San Diego right now tied 72 and 56 records with the Dodgers holding on. My statement on the Dodgers will never change. I am never going to be worried about the Dodgers. I'm never going to freak out and think the Dodgers aren't going to make the postseason. Now, Dodger fans, you have World Series expectations, and that's a different conversation. But anyone who asks me, are you worried about the Dodgers lineup? Oh, Mookie Betts is hurt. What's going to happen? I don't care about any of that because the Dodgers are going to make the playoffs. They're going to win the NL West. And then when it comes to the postseason, that's where the challenge heats up. I'm not worried about their overworked bullpen because they'll find some dude who goes in there and closes games. You have Shohei Ohtani continue to do ridiculous things offensively. Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, they're still plus 111 in run differential. So my answer to you is I'm not worried about the Dodgers bullpen.
Yeah.
Because I trust them to always make the postseason.
Yeah. And pitching is a problem all over Major League Baseball right now. I mean, the Yankees, you know, they're hitting the ball like crazy. They're struggling pitching. So that's going to be a problem. The Dodgers, I mean, I guess we're just so used to this dominant, you know, rotation in the order, in the baseball order, but they don't have that. And so I think that's what's panicking a lot of people in Los Angeles because they believe that they're not going to get the pitching that they need down the stretch. But, I mean, we're looking at 2 months and they should be, or a month, I should say, and then they, you know, the playoffs start. But just that rotation, there isn't anything that jumps out at you. So I think the Dodgers people in Los Angeles are a little panicked.
They're always going to be nervous because it's World Series expectations, and they feel what's invested in that team. And yeah, right, still you're spending a lot of money on superstar players, and you only have one World Series victory.
Right.
That's where the frustration comes from. The regular season, don't talk to me about the Dodgers. They're going to be fine. They're going to make the playoffs. Now let's have that conversation about how it affects them in the postseason. I'm not worried about them being overworked down the stretch because they still have a 4-game lead over the Diamondbacks and Padres. I did say bet on red. This team I am all in on. But I could take a futures bet right now on a team that could surprise and make a run next year. Give me the Cincinnati Reds. I think they have one of the brightest futures in baseball because yesterday Ellie De La Cruz joined a select group of players. So he stole his major league leading 60th base of the year. And he became just the 5th player in Major League Baseball history to have a 20 home run season with 60 stolen bases. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
When you're number 5 in something, and baseball has all the records, all the years, tons of players, and it's just a 5th one to be in the 2060 club. And by the way, we've seen 2 in the last couple of years because we saw Ronald Acuna Jr. do it last year. So some fantastic young players in the game, but you become number 5. The Reds right now, they're 62 and 65. Brewers running away with that division. What a year for the Brewers, 11 games up on the Cardinals. But I got Ellie De La Cruz, I got Steer, I got McClain coming back from the IL next year. I got Green, got Lodolo in that rotation. A futures bet for me is the Cincinnati Reds, but that is a young star player in the game. In Major League Baseball, everyone talks about marketing their star players. They need more excitement. The group they have right now for the future, because you have your stacked-in superstar, Shohei Ohtani, probably the best baseball player I've ever seen in my lifetime at this point. When he's pitching too, it's pretty good. And so if I'm betting on a future, I'm betting on red. I think Cincinnati's ready to take off next year.
And that'd be great because I grew up with the big red machine. I grew up with the Dodgers-Reds rivalry with Pete Rose and Tony Perez and Johnny Bench and Concepcion at shortstop and George Foster and all those guys in Cincinnati. So, and Cincinnati is just a beautiful baseball stadium. I've been there in Cincinnati, and so I'm looking forward to, hopefully your futures bet being correct, so I can see some of this. I get a little nostalgic when I hear the Reds are going to be good, so it'll be fun.
505-246-0610. Who are you betting on down the stretch? What do you like in the Major League Baseball races? Speaking of heating up, the Astros over the last few weeks have stormed past the Mariners because Seattle struggling, just 2-8 in their last 10 games, and then off to a slow start to the year. The Houston Astros have a 5-game lead in the AL West. Justin Verlander came back, didn't get the victory, but he did throw 76 pitches in a loss to the Red Sox. So Verlander, the 41-year-old, working back into the rotation for the Astros. They're feeling good. You have the Yankees still mashing the baseball. Juan Soto, Aaron Judge on this ridiculous home run binge, and they're holding a 1/2-game lead over the Orioles. You look at the races, that's probably the most exciting race. Just the Yankees and the Orioles. But then don't overlook the Central because Minnesota and Kansas City creeping on up against Cleveland. Both those teams are just 2.5 games back. So the better division races right now are in the American League for sure. But that's what keeps baseball exciting because you go to the wild card and there's those teams right there. As yes, you have the Diamondbacks, Padres, Braves in wild card spots. The Mets just a 1.5 back. The Braves are the Mets are 1.5 games back of the Braves, but then you have somehow, some way, the San Francisco Giants always find their way there at 3.5 back, and it's going to be a good stretch run. Major League Baseball.
Am I the only one that believes that the Cleveland Guardians have a chance to get into the World Series?
No, you're talking about a team that had 5 All-Stars. There's
something about this team this year. I just think that I feel that they're going to be the World Series representative from the AL, of Major League Baseball, and the Yankees is as much hoopla as they get because of their hitting. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the pitching will hold up.
So here we go. Right now, team rotations in baseball. The Mariners actually have the best ERA in all of baseball for their pitchers, 3.53. But the offense has been kind of sluggish, and now we see them all of a sudden 5 games back of the Astros. But the second best ERA in the American League is the Guardian staff.
Yeah. I like that team. I said that earlier in the year, earlier in the season, actually, that I thought this team was set up to make a run at it. And then, the Yankees got hot early. But I see Cleveland, they've kind of maintained throughout this season. And so I'm expecting to see them push past the Yankees and get to the World Series this year. That's my prediction.
Guardians in the World Series. Predictions, baby. Who's your World Series pick? 505-246-0610 is the opening drive here on the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Video games to real life. What to expect. Lobos, Montana State on Saturday, 2 o'clock kickoff out there at University Stadium. 1 o'clock pregame. with Robert Portnoy and Don Trull more over on News Radio KKOB, UNM Sports Radio Network. Ned James, they out there patrolling the sidelines out there, trying to stay cool. Make sure to stay hydrated.
Yeah,
sir.
Hydrate.
And that's not supposed to cool down.
Yeah.
Next couple of days, what are we looking at? Saturday, 91 degrees. Oh, that's beautiful. I'll take 91.
Yeah.
Some football, 0-week football.
Maybe I'll get an IV.
Yeah. Pump you up on the IV. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line this morning. All right, so when it comes to Saturday, and we've been discussing over the last few days, it will be the eye test for 99.9% of us.
Yep.
Finally get a chance to see what this team look like. What is the offense? What is the defensive philosophy? You're hearing from some of the fans throughout the week. A lot of people just want to see a foundation to believe in. See a competitive football team playing some clean football and like limiting the penalties on those side.
Yeah,
clean decision making from a football team, and I do think that there's an element of this being a must-win football game. And I agree with what Bronco Mendenhall said, that this game is the start of an era. It's not going to define an era, but there's a chance it could define half your season. And why is that? It's just the way the schedule is set up. We have a good FCS football team coming in that right now they're 12-point favorites over you in your home stadium. Week 2, you're at Arizona, who's a top 20 team that has some playoff buzz to them as they go to the Big 12. Then you go to SEC country, and you know what Auburn's thinking? Revenge.
Yeah. Even though it
was New Mexico State that beat them, they're just like, they don't care.
Those people down there in the South, they don't know the difference between
they're just like, New Mexico's coming. How can a school from outside the United States beat us like that? That's what they're thinking. Going Auburn, SEC country.
And just remind these people from Montana, make sure you bring your
passports. Bobcat fans. Don't forget to bring your passports so you can get in to New Mexico for the game on Saturday. And then September 21st, the Lobos finally get to come back home. Right. And that's why I just think Saturday, it's not just hope, new era. It's the way the schedule sets up. Yeah. Can you go out there and beat Arizona, Auburn? Sure, yes, it's entirely possible. You can win those games. You saw New Mexico State beat Auburn when no one thought that was in the cards.
Sure.
But I also don't think this Lobo football team is where the Aggies were last year with the program and who they had.
Right.
So that's why Saturday, it's not important just to show good.
Yeah.
It's important to win because of the time in between home games to get those Lobo fans back out to University.
And I will say this, too. The Mountain West teams are not killing it with the NIL. And we're doing okay with NIL. And so, I mean, in the age of NIL, it doesn't matter. Every year, to me, you have to have a chance to win. And I think this team believes that. I think the coach believes that. I mean, you could sell, you can do the old Lou Holtz thing where you just downplay everything. We're not very good. And, we're just trying to build a program here. And, that's coach speak, sure. But in the age of NIL now, in my opinion, because of the fact there's general managers now, there's essential owners of these teams, and guys are, salaried. You can call it NIL, whatever you want, but it's salaried guys making more money than professors. You got to put up. You got to play. you got to perform. So this ain't social services. So let's giddy up, and we're FBS, and we got more on scholarship than they do. So we got larger platoons. So we better show up.
Yeah, and it's setting the tone, and not just for the team this season, but for the fan base. And it is, it's a fan base that's waiting for something, that's been here, done that. And how many times is it going to be a honeymoon game? How many times is it going to be the start of a new era? You're trying to find some consistency. It's going to take some work.
Yeah.
But the last thing the Lobos need, the last thing this fan base can go through is this team getting beat and then having to watch them go on a road where they're going to be sizable underdogs in those games, and then trying to be like, hey, guess what? We're back. September 21st, you're going to come watch us play. And so there is so much on game one where I agree it won't define the era, but it could define the first half of the season. It's just the reality of it. When you're talking about fans, ticket sales, what they're going to do, what they're going to invest in over the course of the season. But I am cautiously optimistic because I will trust the coaching record of Bronco Mendenhall. Now it's different, and you've brought it up plenty of times. You have advantages at BYU. You have advantages even at Virginia that you don't have at the University of Mexico.
Right. But you still have to take advantage of what you have in this particular situation today. And I think we do have somewhat of an advantage because no one's killing it with the NILs in the conference. And so we should be able to stand out in this division in some way, at some position.
Well, it's the opportunity because it's a year of just so much more turnover of established coaches leaving, and that does have a trickle down effect. It's not Craig Bull leading away at Wyoming, so it's different vibe. Even though you say, hey, I want to pick up where he left off, it's still different. You have new head coach at Utah State because of Blake Anderson. How much noise is the Blake Anderson lawsuit? He's suing Utah State. It's going to kind of just filter in to that program in that university. New coach in San Diego, new coach in San Jose. So opportunity is there. Ned, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Always appreciate it. Ned James. Don't forget, tune in. He's on the sidelines Saturday level football against Montana State. Jerry, thank you for coming in. Welcome. Last couple of days. Adrian on ProView, much appreciated. You got the Jim Rome Show coming up next. Colin Cowherd at 1. 2 minutes on. We'll take you up to Ice Hoops baseball tonight. Everybody, Metal, peace and love. Have a great day.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.